Hi, thank you so much for interviewing with us today. My name is Paige. What is your full name?
My name is Gilberto Silva Cortez.
Hi, it's really nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too, my pleasure.
So, my first question for you is out of everything you've done in high school so far, what would you say is your greatest accomplishment?
My great accomplishment, I would say, is the day that I find that looking for equity is what I like to do. It was the day when I was awarded a 10,000 award from this nonprofit called Youth Funding Youth Ideas to create my own nonprofit that is an after-school program to support young immigrants at my high school to learn English.
Okay. So, have you had a chance to set up your nonprofit yet? Is it running?
It's running, yeah, it's running. It has been a little bit more than a year now. We have received multiple awards, and we're starting to expand our program from San Francisco to LA. So that for me is like very awesome. In the future, as my long goal after college is to create my own nonprofit. And what I say, like, what about if instead of just creating a high school nonprofit, let's make it like a national where we can teach English to newcomer students after school.
Mhm. So, out of all the awards that your nonprofit has received so far, which one are you the proudest of having received and why?
So eight. So I work very closely with this other another organization called 826 Valencia that supports also like English learner students with their writing. So the proudest award I'm proud of is when I partnered with them doing their fundraising event here at San Francisco. I was part of like a very short video documentary, and after the fundraising was done, we all talked together, and I received an award that it was due to my efforts fundraising in the fundraising process, but also like we fundraised more than $650,000 to keep assisting underprivileged youth in their writings and funding other nonprofits like mine that is called Finding Our Voice.
And that's really wonderful. Well, what was the best lesson you've been able to learn as a nonprofit or nonprofit founder?
Of course. So when you're teaching English to like newcomers, you really see their perspective. At Mission High School, at my school, there are people that just arrived to the country like a month ago, 2 weeks ago. And although I just have in the United States more than like a year, you can really learn about themselves. And we come to America and look for the American dream. But what I learned is like we all don't share the same American dream. There was this time I was talking with this student, and he told me like, I want to learn English not because I want to go to college, but it's because I want to be a truck driver. And at the beginning, I was like regularly saying like, why do you want to be a truck driver? But later, like talking with more newcomers, talking with him, and like sharing our perspectives, I understood that we don't have the same American dream, and that's something that I have to respect. And since then, I've been like very open to hear different perspectives, and later in like at any place I go to, my goal is to learn what is your American dream.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Just to let you know, when you move your hand, sometimes there's like a clicking sound, so maybe you just be
Okay.
aware of that. Okay, great. So you said that you have plans to expand from San Francisco to LA. Tell us about, the skill set that you need to employ in order to make sure that's a success.
So it started when I went to a flying program to the East Coast. When I met people of color like myself, people who just arrived to America no more than 5 years old, people who struggle learning English, and like it surprised me that I found a community even outside of San Francisco, even outside of California, and we started work together. And this guy called James, he told me, "Yeah, I am from LA, and I also see that problem. Coming from public schools that are sadly underfunded, they don't really focus on like addressing those kind of problems, and that's where students like us start doing this kind of projects. So we started talking. Now part of the budget we have is going to LA. We were gonna start that this semester, but unfortunately there are so many problems due to like we're long distance, and also it is our first time doing this. Like we're seniors at high school, but we want to leave our mark at each high school we are at and teach English to newcomers.
Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're back after an audio issue. Um, what do you think has been really stellar about your leadership in terms of growing your nonprofit either locally or in terms of its expansion to other cities?
So I feel that my resilience is still doing these kind of things during the process. Like I faced so many complications in my personal life. I came here to university by myself. I don't live with my parents. I have to work after school. I have 3 jobs. I live above an igloo. I don't have a bed. But even though I'm still looking for my community, because I am aware that I'm not the only immigrant that is facing those kind of issues. And I have the privilege that I know how to speak English, so I have access to better jobs, better opportunities. I have access to internships where I can develop my own business idea. I can develop a nonprofit. But I look to those people who just have here like 2 months, 1 month. They don't speak any English, and a very hard transitional process. Um, so I feel like my resilience during the process of creating this nonprofit has been a factor that reflects my leadership.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, wonderful. So you did mention the American dream and how it's individual to each person. It's very unique. So you did mention also that you'd like to start a national nonprofit. Would that be the core of your American dream, or are there other things that you are reaching for that would extend beyond that?
So my American dream comes from my personal experiences. I came here to America to not only to look for better educational opportunities, but also to provide for my family financially. After my father's stroke, everything has been so hard to pay their medications, doctor appointments. But as the eldest sibling, as son of 2 immigrants who once were here in America, but um, got deported, I have to look for my family. My American dream is made of frustrated dreams who were lost in the process, and I want to in addition to creating my nonprofit, I want to also help my family. The day that I have the money to pay for all the treatments that my father needs, that's the day I would say the American dream is done.
That's fantastic. So I kind of feel you've been a leader not just in your nonprofit, but probably in other areas as well. So can you tell us about another leadership moment that in which you really shined?
So in addition to like the nonprofit as the eldest sibling, um, I would say when I was in Mexico, so I was born in America, but I moved to Mexico when I was 5 years old, and during there I learned how big is my culture. I fell in love with the Mexican culture in more like in the sense of the arts. So I was part of a mariachi for a few years, and I don't know. Like I saw also the need that not a lot of people can afford like music classes to learn guitar to sing. I don't sing it, but that's another thing. But yeah, so right before the pandemic, me and my sibling and me work together to do this like free weekends classes of music to teach like kids that are just interested like in music. What about you today can just learn 3 chords, sing with us, and public to share this on Facebook so we can get like fundings to buy you a guitar or something like that. So so my life since I was in Mexico has been involved like in helping my community, and I like to do that because I feel that our lives shouldn't be determined for where you're born, from your economic status, instead of like the opportunities that are around you.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. That's so important. Academically, what are you really passionate about?
I really like math. I grew up in a around an environment that used to say like math is so hard. Why are you doing that? But I say I want to try that by myself, and I realized that all that stress really pays off when you can solve that problem. So since I was in elementary school, I used to participate in state Olympiads at Mexico. Um, so since then, coming here, I've try to like find a way to get involved in math. I participate to a few competitions here too, and math for me is like has the answer to the most complex problems, and also has taught me a way to think more creatively. So I can apply that in my life, thinking outside the box. You know.
Mm-hmm. So, how have you challenged yourself in the realm of math since being a high school student?
Yeah. So going back to what I told you before, I only have a little bit more than a year here in America, and in less than a semester I had to really put myself into into like full English classes to really be at that academic level. So in my senior year I decided to take the hardest AP class that we had at my school, that is AP calculus AB. And although it's like a only English class, I was like, no, I want to do that. I want to do that, and it really has been like a great experiences. I have better my English, I have better my skills, and also like doing presentations about like the different ways I think when I'm doing math problems, because it's not the same here in America and in Mexico. Although we're very close, we have different ways to approach the problems. So it's like a really wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm. Um, is math also the subject area that you want to focus on in college, or are you interested in other areas as well?
Not really. Um, at any case, I will do math like as a minor or something like that. But my main focus, as my journey can tell, is like helping my community. So learning Latin American studies has been a way for me to understand that I come from a background that has a great potential to do great things, but not the resources to develop them. So I want to combine those things. Like I want to find the disciplinary connection between like Latin American studies and another passions I have. Um, and I was thinking like probably entrepreneurship. So probably combine my major that would be like Latin American studies or maybe linguistics that I could learn from other cultures, and combine this with like entrepreneurship to after college create my own nonprofit.
Mm-hmm, I see. So, when you talk about Latin American studies, are you talking more about history or literature or economics? Is there a particular area that you gravitate toward?
Definitely, I would go more into the field of history. I feel that that will teach me like different social movements. Like for example, here in California, we could tell like the Cesar Chavez movement that fight for rights for farmers. But what about if I could learn how has been the life of like I don't know like Filipino immigrants outside of California or things like that. So I would I would not just like concentrate myself like in Latin American, but I would like just to like probably go around the cultures, understand their background, and how can we do better.
Mm-hmm. That's really great. Yeah, tell us a little bit more too about what you hope to learn about entrepreneurship.
Also, entrepreneurship. When I think in entrepreneurship, I think in a way to go into the industry in a sense that my main focus right now could not be like make profit, but instead like the impact we could have with like our business idea, you know. So when I think entrepreneurship, I'm looking for the space that could help me to teach me like what do I need to run my nonprofit, what resources do I need, is it the only need like to teach English, what about if we focus ourselves like providing housing or food resources. So that's what I'm looking for when I'm thinking entrepreneurship and going to the sense in like in the nonprofit industry.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's really wonderful. We are coming to the end of your interview now. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us today?
I just want to thank you for your moment here with me. I also would like to go back a little with my to my journey coming here to America. So I was born here in San Francisco, but after 5 years, due to the unfortunate death of my little sister, we had to move to Mexico. And after that, in 2021 July, I came to America by myself. My housing situation has not been the best. It's the only person coming here, so I've shown resilience in so many ways. I live with not having like a house. Sure, I don't know what I'm gonna eat tomorrow, but although that, I'm always looking for helping my community. I'm always looking for how can we join to create a more progressive society. Thank
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah. So you always seem to be giving away to others. You're always giving and giving. What do you do in order to replenish yourself so that, you stay mentally healthy and strong?
So what I do is I like to play marriage music. So I'm always in the San Francisco Main Library. They have this space called the Mix. So that's a space only for youth where they can go. They have this music studio. So I like to write music as a hobby. I like to combine English, Spanish, and a little bit of Portuguese. I like to combine some instruments: ukulele, guitar, piano, violin. So that's a way for me to relax.
Hmm. Which piece of music did you write that you feel is the most authentic reflection of yourself?
Wait, sorry, how was that? I couldn't hear.
Oh, no, it's okay. So, which piece of music did you write that you feel is the most authentic representation of yourself or most authentic reflection of yourself?
So due to the experience that I have with that newcomer that I told you, like we don't have the same American dream. I wrote this poem song that is called "The American Dream is no longer American, is mine." So that song talks about like how the American dream is ours and not from America. So that's something I really reflect to myself.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. Well, thank you so much for interviewing with us today and for sharing all of your stories with us.